Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here and you feel like you got a little bit of that common sense that's not so common, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you don't, common sense is a disease I'm trying to make highly contagious, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button anyway, please. And this video is the common folk perspective. This is when we talk about one general law from a common perspective. Don't come for me. I don't have any official law training or education or degree. Okay, I'm doing this all from Dr. Google, giving it to you and giving my opinion on it. Today we're going to get into child abuse law and Utah code, and we're going to be calling that child boop for now on. Okay, before we get any further, first and foremost, my name is Key, and this is What's the Key.
For me, break, for me, break the body for me.
All right, let's get right into it. As always, if you see me looking down, looking at my notes, and any bell you hear is my cat City doing kitty things. Child abuse. Okay, the law for Utah Code 76-5-109 went into effect on May 4th, 2022. And this law applies to any child that is younger than the age of 18. So for this child boops law, let's get into a couple of these definitions. The first one is the physical injury, and it's anything that impairs the child's physical condition. Okay, any injury that impairs their physical condition. All right, so that's bruises or skin contusions, minor lacerations or abrasions, their failure to thrive or being malnutrition, and then anything else that impairs a child's health or welfare and is not considered a serious injury. Okay, now what's a serious injury? It seriously impairs the child's health. It's considered child torture, which for the purpose of this video, we'll be calling it orchard from now on. It's any serious emotional harm to the child, and it gives them any substantial risk of being unalived. So examples of these are fracture of any bone or bones, intracranial bleeding or swelling, or contusions of the brain caused by blows, shaking, or the child's head impacting with another object, burns, including any burns that can be done by hot water, using any type of dangerous weapon to inflict harm on them, like knives or pow-pows. If two or more injuries are conflicted by the same person, either at the same time or on a different occasion. So if they have maybe cuts on their arms, it cuts on their legs. Like if they have a cut on their arm this first time, then the leg of their second time, now we're seeing the pattern. We know this is happening frequently. Or it's not an accident because now you got to hear, then why would it happen on the leg there? So it becomes more serious. Any damage to their internal organs, any conduct that causes severe emotional damage, developmental delay, intellectual disability, or serious impairment or severe impairment to function. If any of the boops creates permanent disfigurement or partial loss or function of any bodily limb or organ. Any impediment of their breathing or circulation, whether that's like through their neck, pressing on their chest, or on their throat in any type of way, or in obstructing their airways, such as their nose, to the point that it is likely to produce unconsciousness. If you see that there's starvation, failure to thrive, or malnutrition, that it has reached to the point that it jeopardizes a child's life, that's when it becomes serious. Remember, it isn't regular, but that's when it becomes serious. If a child becomes unconscious by either an affliction of a brain injury or unlawfully causing deprivation of oxygen to the brain, okay? If they become unconscious to that brain injury or not allowing enough oxygen, serious injury. Okay, so if the actor inflicts the harm upon the child herself, or they're the primary caregiver or parent of the child, and they allow somebody else to do it, that is considered them committing child boops. All right, the violations, okay? The violations, all right? If it is done intentionally or knowingly, it's a misdemeanor. It's a Class B misdemeanor if it's done recklessly. And it's a Class C misdemeanor if it's done with criminal intent. The current laws allowed it from going anywhere from a little misdemeanor to second-degree felony. A misdemeanor? A misdemeanor in most cases is like 90 days to 6 months in jail, up to 90 days or 6 months in jail, a max of maybe $700 to $1,000 in fines, or community service. I know people in Utah have money. I lived in Utah for a while. Okay, I know people in Utah have money. Paying them little fines and stuff would be nothing. And everybody knows somebody that knows somebody because they in the church together. They'll probably get away with only having community service or a fine. Utah, you need to really do better. For real, for real. Now the exception. So if a parent or legal guardian who provides a child with treatment by spiritual means, alone through prayer in lieu of medical treatment in accordance with tenets and practices of an established church or religious denomination in which the parent or legal guardian is a member or adherent, may not, for that reason alone, be considered to have committed an offense under this section. So if they choose not to do a certain medical treatment and instead do their religious practices, you cannot say for that alone is child boobs. And I have actually seen a little documentary on that of a family trying to push to help a child they feel like really needed medical treatment in a family whose religious faith was not allowing their child to have the current medical treatment. No. Okay, see, look, we just talked about in Florida how they was mad that we're taking away minors' freedom of speech, freedom of blah, 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 this. All of a sudden, can the child not decide to get actual medical treatment over spiritual medical treatment for their parents? I know why, because Utah is a very religious state. Although in the recent statistics, there are more non-religious people there than there are religious people. But they are a very religious state. I'm not saying it has to be child abuse, okay? I'm just saying if we're going to allow parents to guardians to go through prayer, I think we need to give the children a little bit more freedom to choose medical. Not saying your prayers don't work, don't say anything, not saying anything like that. Just saying that I have my thing with Big Pharma and stuff like that, but the modern day medical fields can be very helpful. But for that reason alone, it cannot be considered child abuse. So if you see a little sick kid that's not getting any treatment and the parents are saying, well, we do a religious thing and he just looks like getting worse or whatever, they cannot get they can probably come in and help the child, but they cannot charge the parents with child abuse for that alone. Okay, so I'm guessing in this case, if the parents are still the ones that caused the boops, they can't just pray it away and then, like I said, that can't be counted, but you causing the boops can be counted. And it's not stopping. You can still go under investigation. You can still very much be under investigation. You just for that alone can't be charged with child boops. All right, another exception. The parent or guardian does not violate the sex selections by selecting a treatment option for a medical condition of the child if the treatment option is one of those a reasonable parent or guardian would believe to be in the best interest of the child. Yeah, I can see that, okay? Because in some cases, some treatments, it does seem like the child's only getting worse, or it's like the child's getting abused, but it's supposed to be there to help child or adult, anybody, okay? Like chemotherapy. It's like one of them things that seems like it only makes it worse, but in reality, it is killing cancer cells. So, yeah. Now, an actor is not guilty of this offense under this section for conduct that constitutes reasonable discipline or management of the child. Anything justified as self-defense under the statute 76-2-401. And then also, if they have to reason, restrain, or use force against a child for any of these reasons, for self-defense, in defense of others, or to remove a weapon from the child for any of those reasons above. Now, we finna talk about Ruby Frank and Jody Hildebrandt, but I'm not getting deep into them because when I say just Google their name, you'll get stories. We got people who track this story from the start to the finish in Utah. This was the case that embarrassed Utah. Their case was so bad that a new bill is being proposed. So the reason why their case is so bad is because to this day, they still believe they are answering to a higher power. You'll see that in quite a few cases in Utah with this higher power and thinking that they're doing what's best according to the religion. All right. So Ruby Franks, Jody Hildebrandt, we're going to be saying names in this video. We ain't going to get into their case. You can Google it, but I want to bring them up for this, okay? Because of their case and it getting all that public attention and embarrassing the state of Utah, a new bill was proposed to heighten punishment. This is called the Child Boops in Orchard Amendment, and it's going to create a new criminal offense. Child orchard will be a first-degree felony, minimum mandatory sentence of 10 years. Currently, they only have it, like I said, going up to a second-degree felony. All right? This will also place the people on the Axe, Kidnap, and Child Boops offense registry. I don't see a problem with that. I think that's a good start to heighten punishment. But I bring that up to say because both Ruby and Jody actually had a parole hearing for September 2024 that got pushed to 2026. I wonder if they're trying to get this bill in here to make sure that they can't go on parole. Because like I said, it'd be a first-degree felony. And right now, I don't believe they're charged for, I think if the new criminal offense is called child orchard, right now they're charged for aggravated child boops. 4 counts. That gives you anywhere from 1 to 15 years in jail. If they can come back out and they can add this, retry them for this, etc., which is going to be obvious to prove, there will be no parole hearing in 2026. They will minimally have to serve 10 years in prison. So I brought them up to say, I wonder if they push their parole hearing back to try to get this bill pushed through in 2025. That way by 2026, it's like, nah, you got to serve a minimum of 10 years. I do know that it happened before. And I know you can't be tried for the same crime twice. But if this is a new charge, I have seen this in true crime cases where they couldn't get a guy from unaliving somebody. So every time he got out of jail, they hit him with a new charge and made sure he got the max penalty. Every time he got out of jail, new charge, max penalty. Just kept happening until he was damn near in jail for years. But in the Ruby Fank and Jody Hildebrand's case, I really do feel like that they are pushing their parole hearing back to 2026 so they can pass this new bill for child boops in orchards and get this first degree felony added onto them in a possible way. Okay? I ain't mad at it. All right? But let's go ahead and move on into some of these cases happening currently, 2024, within the last 6 months here in Utah. DCFS, I'm officially on your ass for the rest of this video. First case, we have a case of 2 DCFS workers and a babysitter, okay? The babysitter's name is Erika Boss, and she is charged with aggravated child boops to a toddler, okay? Erika Boss. Now, her mother is one of these DCF workers, Lindsey Erika Boss, and Lindsey was a person that was interfering with the investigation along with one of her friends, Caitlin Marcella Murphy, were both interfering with this investigation. Now, listen. The toddler was found to have scratches and bruises all over their body, and I can let you know right now, you would have been a little black and blue before the cops would pick you up. I'm just saying, I feel like some of these people look a little too pretty in these pictures for what they did. Next, we have Lindsey Johnson. Now, Lindsey Johnson was a nanny. She has pled not guilty to shaken baby syndrome with a 6-week-old baby. This baby has broken hips, broken legs, and bleeding in the brain. If Lindsey is found guilty, each account is charged up to 15 years in prison and a $10,000 fine. Lindsey, Erika, y'all got some anger y'all want to get out? Because I'm just like, why we abusing children? At this point, yeah, I got to be a stay-home wife once I have a child, because you not about to get... Let me come home and I have a bruise on my child and I have hired a nanny. You couldn't come up with a fast enough excuse. Man, listen. The nanny, the babysitter, clearly y'all not qualified for the jobs. I wonder, okay, another thing. Are these people coming from agencies? The nanny? How are they being hired? Because next, if they are coming from agency, we need to look into these agencies. We need to look into these agencies next. All right. So this last case we're going to talk about is of Gavin Peterson, and this is a very tragic case. So with Gavin Peterson's case, this starts off in 2013. He lives in a home with Nicole Scott, who is his father, Shane Peterson's girlfriend, his father, Shane Peterson, and his brother, Tyler Peterson. In this household, back in 2013, was the very first incident they ever had with DCFS. There's no detail on it, but they had an incident with DCFS in 2013. Fast forward, in 2019, there's an open case with DCFS where they did have to have voluntary in-home services to address child safety concerns. This case was open and closed within a month. Now, in this case, Nicole abused a child, but it wasn't Gavin. I'm guessing it was Tyler, if I had to take a guess. That was in 2019. 2020, in February, another inquiry was submitted to DCFS about Gavin's welfare. Now, this didn't happen in a house with Shane Peterson or Nicole Scott. This happened with another caregiver, which I wish they gave their name, where this other caregiver did nothing to protect Gavin while he was being booped by someone else. Poor Gavin. Juvenile court got involved in this one, of course, now, because now you have most likely another youth that was booping Gavin, and then you had a caregiver that did nothing about it. The juvenile court got involved and ordered the Peterson and Scott, to participate in in-home services for child safety concerns. During the time they were receiving the in-home services, the DCFS was called, but they didn't have enough evidence to warrant an investigation. 2021, the juveniles in-home services have been completed and the case is closed with the juvenile courts. So in 2022, in the month of September, DCFS receives another inquiry, another report sent to them, but they said they didn't find anything to warrant an investigation. 2023, there was one report of neglect towards Gavin opened and another report of physical abuse towards Gavin that was opened at the same time. The DCFS interviewed Gavin while he was in school and interviewed Shane Peterson in his home. But ultimately, the case was closed on May 15th, 2023, because it was unsupported. There was no additional evidence. That was May 15, 2023. July 9th, 2024, DCFS receives a call because Gavin has entered the emergency room with severe injuries. A day later, Gavin passes away on July 10th, 2024. On July 17, 2024, Nicole Scott, Shane, and Tyler Peterson are all arrested for this case. And there are more things, but I didn't continue reading. I just went on down this timeline of when DCFS fucking failed. Utah, you need to fire your entire DCF department because clearly they're not there to protect children. The juvenile case seemed to have a longer case open than what any DCFS worker found. But for all we know, like with Lindsey and Erika, they could have had a family in there that was opening and closing these cases. Maybe I should go look further into this case. But DCFS, you are the definition of ain't shit. Y'all could have really saved Gavin Peterson and y'all didn't. Y'all had one job and y'all didn't save Gavin Peterson. And then look at y'all workers. Look at Lindsey, Erika Boss, and Caitlin Marcella Murphy. Over here helping a babysitter abuse a child. And then the name Lindsey will never be in my vocabulary to name any of my children that name. Because what? 2 Lindseys in the row? One of them you're a nanny, the other one you're a mother. So now it makes you wonder, okay, was Erika possibly, booped? Why was the mother so okay with seeing her daughter doing that and trying to hide and cover it up? I don't know, Lindsey, you let me know. Erika, you okay? What about you too, Caitlin? You 24 getting yourself into this mess. Erika's 31. Then her mother's whatever. You gonna ruin your whole life? The other one, you're in a whole safety photo. If y'all couldn't handle the job of being a nanny and a babysitter, why would you do it? Because if you run into a future parent like me, it ain't gonna be just no call the cops. But like I said, Utah, I need you to do an investigation on your entire department of DCFS. Go ahead and fire everybody and replace them with other people. If we gotta grab people from other states, like Philadelphia, they'd be on it. Grab some for them and have them come on down and help y'all out. But this is ridiculous. But y'all, that brings us to the end of the video. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you like what I said. I really want to hear y'all opinions on the child boop laws. Okay, do you feel like their boop law and their child boop law in Utah is too lenient? Do you feel like it needs to be more aggressive? Do you feel like the new bill that's coming out is doing enough? Okay, and let me know what y'all think too about the cases, all right? I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
For me, break, for me, break that body for me.